Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. This is just an update video of the HMS Eskimo. This dedication to my wife. I thought I would show you the progress so far. As you can see, I've added the decks to it, and some of the I don't know what they really are, but the boxes to the various parts. But I wanted to just point out a couple of fit issues I've had with this kit. And the first fit issue I had was with the rear superstructure, and I'll just get the piece now so that we can have a look at it together. So this is the rear superstructure, which fits just there. Okay. Now the problem I had was the, if you like, the perimeter of this part would not fit flush within the outline that's shown there. And so what I had to do, I don't know whether you can tell, is I had to chamfer the edge of part of it in order for it to fit nicely in that location. Now fortunately I test fitted that part before I added all these gubbins to the top of it. So imagine none of these boxes, the antenna and this structure added to this particular part, and then test fitting it and finding it wouldn't fit. And I advise you to do that, because obviously you don't want to put pressure on this part to try and get it to fit when you've got all this stuff on there. Much better to have it as almost like a blank piece and test fit it and then sort out those problems. The next issue I had was, let me just bring this down this way a bit. And let me find see if I can find a pointer of some sort. I'll just use this. So this part here was a kit part initially, and it's just a plate that fills in this gap. Now bear in mind that this deck is fitted to a recessed line all the way round the hull, and this deck is fitted to a recessed line all the way round the hull. So consequently this part that you put in here can only fit flush with the top of this, and then comes down to sit in the bottom of that. So you would think that the superstructure that goes in this area here, let me just bring the build back a bit. You would think that the superstructure that fits in this silhouette here, when it steps down, will fit flush with that deck, come up and then fit around that silhouette. So let me just fit that part and we can have a look. And I'm struggling even now to fit it. There we go. Okay. So the problem was this bottom point here, the base of this, did not sit on this deck. What it was doing was producing a step. I'll just rotate this a bit. It was producing a step, so that in actual fact you had something to that effect, where you had this gap and the step, sorry, you had this gap up here. So what I had to do, and again, if this deck is fitted to the recessed area and this deck's fitted to the recessed area, how the hell can you then not have this part fit flush with that and not have a gap at this location? Now I hope to God that in a video's time or whatever, I will find out I've made a stupid mistake. I don't think I have. So what I had to do was take some of the bottom off of this part. Let me just turn it slightly. I took some of the bottom off of this part. But the other problem I had was that this plate that they provide in the kit, you see what's there at the moment, that's just evergreen stuff. And the width of that is basically about a quarter of the kit part. So if you can imagine, this part wanted to sit about there, if not further, in fact. So it wouldn't slot into the silhouette that's intended for it. So what I had to do was, once I'd got this sat in the right location flush with this bottom deck, this part had already been fitted, the kit part. So I just run a scalpel along that edge from the bottom to top, and run the same bottom to top this end, and then fortunately I was able to take this plate off. Because I'd marked it, I knew exactly the length I needed that side and that side, and I cut it to those lengths. But although the part then fitted and slotted into the outline that it should be fitted onto, this door, let me just again bring it a bit closer. Let's see if I can pan in a bit. This door here was being obscured because of the thickness of this part. So what I decided to do in the end was, as I say, get some evergreen, the width of which was only a quarter of that provided, cut it to the same dimensions as the part I'd already cut, and then I fitted that between the two decks, and as you can see, it no longer interferes with the door. The other advantage of making this new part was that the kit part, and I still can't work out why it did this, extended further than the curve of the hull. So you actually had a slight step from the kit part and this curve, which of course doesn't make any sense. Now I can assure you that the front of the bow is fitted in trim with the front of the deck, so there was no extension because of the deck part not fitting properly. So if I just turn this around a bit more and bring the camera down, anybody building this kit, and as I say, I apologise if any future videos show where I basically crapped up with this build, but anybody building this kit, I would recommend that you put some replacement plastic in this section and in the other section back here, in order to get this deck and this horizontal flush with this curve. At the same time, you're reducing the problem of I need to come back up again. You're reducing this problem of all this upper superstructure not fitting in within the recess that was shown on the deck. In fact, I'll pull that off now. So it's not, so before it wasn't fitting flush with this, and because of those two things of reducing the height of the one part and then recessing the other part, I was able to get this to flush fit properly onto this build like that. Now you can see a bit of a gap at the front, but if I put a bit of pressure, there you go, it is perfect. All right, So if you're building this kit and you come across those problems, that's why you're coming across those problems. It's probably nothing to do with you. It's the fact that the kit doesn't fit particularly properly. And again, at the back, if you just thin down the edge of this superstructure, you'll get it to fit in the right locations. The third problem, or is it the fourth problem? That's 1, height of that 2, and the fitting of that 3. So let's go on to the fourth problem. And to that I need to turn to the instructions. Where is it? Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Here we go. I'll move the kit out the way for the moment so that we just focus on the instructions. Okay, here. Let me get my pointer. It tells you to fit B21 and you need to fit 2 of them. Okay. I had to think long and hard over this. I'd already fitted part numbers B21 to the main deck, and here they are. If you look closely, this is what B21 looks like. And when they tell you to fit B21 here, it's a different shape. B21 is squat, whereas this one's more rectangular upwards and B21's more rectangular outwards. So looking at my sprues, I found that I got a couple of B11s left. Now if we have a look at B11 on the proper deck, we had to fit a couple of B11s here. Excuse me. The difference between B11 and B21, other than one being higher and the other one being more squat, that's a B21 there. The other difference is, if you look at the instructions here, and you can see it on the kit, the rear part of B21 is hollow. It's not finished off, because when you add the superstructure, you won't see the back of B21. Whereas B11, it's got no superstructure to hide it, and therefore needs to be a full piece. If we go back to this discrepancy here, where it says B21, these pieces will be seen and don't have a superstructure to hide the back of them, and that's why I think there's a typo there and they should be B11s. Because when I got to doing this part of the superstructure, I got no B21s left, and so it had to be another part, or I'd made a mistake, and I couldn't see where I'd made a mistake. So I would recommend that the part there is B11, which is a full piece, and therefore isn't a problem, because you won't have, unlike the B21, part of the build that looks a bit weird because it's not complete. So there you go, guys, a bit of an update, as I say, on the HMS Eskimo, dedication to my good lady, and also build number 4 for the All at Sea group build. Coincidentally, this is my 300th video on YouTube, and that's just a fantastic milestone to reach, and it's all because I'm encouraged to post videos because of my subscribers and the comments that people make on the videos, which are all encouraging and really appreciated. So you've only got yourselves to blame. I'm sorry. You keep making nice comments about my videos and the builds I do, and therefore I'm going to keep producing videos, so it's your own fault. Alright, thanks ever so much everyone for subscribing and viewing my channel, and I hope to catch up with you soon.